You know who the biggest snub of them all is? Me. Grossi Posse Packer Nation. Welcome to an episode of Podcast, the podcast where you don't have to be a Packers fan, but it sure does help. I'm your host, Tom. Packers call me to be your next wide receiver, Grossi, and today we are going to get mad at arbitrary lists that are formed by the NFL players. That's it. Before we get to that, I want to do a big shout and thank you to a brand new Patreon member over at patreon.com/TomGrossiComedy and two new YouTube members. First, over at patreon.com, we got Angel Che, thank you very much. And then over for the YouTube members, we have Furturistic and Logan Gulig. Thank you very much for your support. It is much appreciated. Now, the NFL Top 100 concluded last night with Lamar Jackson taking home the coveted prize of the #1 spot. I mean, does he really get anything? No. Can he trade it in for a playoff win? Also no. And I'll start off right there. I think Lamar Jackson getting the #1, that's totally fine. I think that's totally warranted. The guy had an incredible year last year, an MVP-like year, if you will, because he won the MVP. And the fact that he went from unranked last year to #1, I think is pretty damn impressive. So I have no issues with him getting it. And before we start getting into anger, I want to make something clear. Again, this isn't like analyst. This is not, a sports writer. This is just the players who are voting. So you really can't get mad at anyone except just the collective whole of the NFL, even though all the players are not asked to vote. Even Aaron Jones admitted when he was asked, who did you vote for #1? And he was like, I voted for myself, gotta believe in myself. And if that's not a mood, I don't know what is. Starting with the top 5. Patrick Mahomes coming in at #4 again. Again, he was there last year, he is this year. And again, if you want to give Lamar Jackson #1, fine. That's fine. But you're telling me that Aaron Donald and Russell Wilson were better than Patrick Mahomes last year. Listen, and that's not a knock against Aaron Donald or Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson, I think, also had an MVP-like season. But freaking Patrick Mahomes single-handedly won all those playoff games, and essentially with the Super Bowl was like, hey, I'm going to go and win this too. Mahomes, in my opinion, is the most talented QB in the NFL right now. And the fact that he did not crack the top 3 is such a travesty that we can only get mad about because there's really not a whole lot of other football news to talk about. Then you have guys like Aaron Rodgers coming in at #16, which I will say, I think that's fair. I think that's completely and totally fair, considering that he had a down year for his standards. But I think also that he wasn't relied upon as much. He did miss some throws, especially near the end of the season with that Lions game. Oof, but he still made some incredible throws. See the Chiefs game to Jamal Williams. So I have no problem with Rodgers falling out of the top 15. It'll be fine. When we win the Super Bowl next year, if there is a season, then that'll be more important. But what I did have an issue with is that you put freaking Tom Brady at #14. Are you serious? Did you watch Tom Brady play last year? And I know the Patriots fans are already going to come in here and be like, well, he didn't have any wide receivers to throw to. Fine, granted, that's totally fine. However, Tom Brady wasn't that great last year either. He was still one of the better quarterbacks, but if you're going to sit here and tell me that he was better than Aaron Rodgers, boy, you lost your mind. Speaking of losing their mind, Julio Jones not being in the top 10, and all the players within the top 10 are very, very good in the NFL. But Julio Jones, in my opinion, is the best wide receiver in the NFL, has been for quite some time. And the fact that he's not in the top 10 and he's an 11, oh boy, what are you doing? In addition, the guy who throws him the ball, Matt Ryan, not even making the top 100, and you're putting Josh Allen in there? Come on, man. Josh Allen, and listen, I'm a big Josh Allen believer coming in this year, and he definitely improved this season. However, Matt Ryan has consistently been so good, putting up ridiculous stats, and sometimes being the only good player besides Julio Jones on that football team. So the fact that he is not in the top 100 is ridiculous. In addition, you have Aaron Jones at 33, which is great because that's his number, and then you have Dalvin Cook at 21. Someone explain this to me. Explain this to me, how Aaron Jones can statistically beat out Dalvin Cook basically all 3 years, the past 3 years of both of their careers, And yet Aaron Jones is still ranked below Dalvin Cook. How does that happen? Dalvin Cook, I know, was injured this year, right? And still put up really, really good numbers. And I'm not saying Dalvin Cook's not a good running back, but Aaron Jones was a beast this season. And then we get up into the 40s. Oh boy, there was lots of snubs going on there. Za'Darius Smith at 48, the guy who led the league in pressures and also led the league in double team percentages at 48. 48! And right around there, you have another guy who should be much, much higher. Bills corner, Tre'Davious White. Yeah, 47? No. Tre'Davious White is a top 10 corner. So then you have some wonderful controversies like Dak and Jimmy G. Jimmy G being brought in at 43 and Dak being brought in at 46. Even though Dak, and I know a lot of people give him a lot of crap, he led that offense. He destroyed this season. It was statistically amazing, and Jimmy G disappeared during the playoff run. So, I mean, maybe you could just make the argument that Dak didn't make it to the playoffs, sure. But yeah, this seems like Jimmy G's marked a little high here. Devonte Adams at 57. Get the hell out of here. He's a top 5 wide receiver. Top 5. And the fact that you have him at 57? 57? No. No. Devonte Adams, who I would argue is the best route runner in the entire league. No, he does not have the elite speed of like a Tyreek Hill. And I will say, as we did our top 10 wide receivers, Julio Jones beats him out. Michael Thomas beats him out. Tyreek Hill, you can argue, beats him out. But then that list starts getting really, really small, right? And Devonte Adams at 57, he also was injured, still nearly put up 1,000 yards this season, and no other wide receiver has scored more touchdowns in the past 4 years than Devonte Adams. Why does this list make me so angry? And then let's talk about the people who didn't make the list at all, because these are fun. Let's stick with the Packers for a second. Kenny Clark, who was 4th in sacks among defensive tackles and 3rd in pressures amongst defensive tackles, only beaten out by Chris Jones and Aaron Donald. And he doesn't even make the list. The disrespect is real. Carson Wentz, also not on this list. If you're going to talk about Tom Brady and how he's able to make something happen without a wide receiving core, then what do you call Carson Wentz? Because seems a bit hypocritical. You have Kenny Golladay, who is also arguably a top 15 wide receiver, led the league in TDs for wide receiver. His contested catch rate is ridiculous, and yet he still doesn't make the list. And finally, the biggest snub of them all. New York Giants quarterback, Case Cookus. I know he just got drafted into the league in the 2020 NFL draft, but the fact that you don't have Case Cookus on here as number 1 is a disgrace to America. So yes, in the grand scheme of things, does this matter in any way, shape, or form? Absolutely not. Even though Devonte Adams said he was sick to his stomach, he'd rather just not have it at all because, where he was ranked. I get that. But at the same time, it's nice to be recognized by your peers. So I could understand that the players are feeling some type of way. Patrick Mahomes was taking notes, and he was obviously making a hit list of who he was going to take out. Lists are fun, aren't they? Let me know what you think down in the comments below. Do you agree with these rankings? Or did you just look at them and go, what in tarnation? You can always find me at TomGrossiComedy.com or at TomGrossiComedy. All social media see down below. Check out podcasts on SoundCloud, iTunes, Google Play Music, Spotify, and of course YouTube. And a big shout and thank you to all the patrons over at patreon.com/TomGrossiComedy and the YouTube members. But thank you so much for watching. I'm Tom Grossi. And as always, go Pack Go.